everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Dayspring Discussions. I'm your host, Sean McGahee, and this is a show where we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. You can listen to Dayspring Discussions on iTunes, YouTube, Podomatic, and Patreon, and contact Dayspring Discussions on the Facebook group, the Twitter account, and dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. Well, happy Thursday, everyone. The sun is shining here in Austin, Texas, and we are coming up on Oscar weekend, guys. I know I said I was going to do a show tomorrow, but my schedule got changed, so I'm doing one right now. And there is a little bit of news that came out in the last couple days I could have covered, but really what I want to talk about is the Oscars. I'm a big fan of the Oscars. It's the Super Bowl of entertainment. I'm going to talk a little bit about why I like the Oscars, why I get excited for them, and then I'm also going to go through the nominees. I'm going to say who I think should win and who I would have liked to see win, which is not normally the same. If you're not interested in the Oscars, haven't seen any of the films, I'm sorry, I'm going to skip this episode. I'll be back next week with more geek news, but for right now, I want to talk the Oscars. Now, as a little kid, I remember watching it with my parents. A lot of times, it was on during our spring break. So we'd be in Daytona Beach and we'd take one night and watch the Oscars. And it was a good time. There was a period, of course, late teens, early 20s, when I thought they were kind of stupid just because a lot of the movies that I liked weren't being nominated, minus like visual effects or sound editing and stuff like that. But over the last couple of years, I've really come to understand and appreciate the Oscars because I've learned really how the Oscars work. So the Golden Globes, you have less than about 40 people of the Hollywood foreign press that vote on these movies. And these are people who work for foreign publications that live in LA and that report on movies and TV. But it's such a small group of people, and honestly, any awards show that has a category for best comedy movie, and you put movies like Get Out and The Martian in there, I really can't respect. I mean, they put that one film with Johnny Depp and Angelina Jolie as Best Picture one year. I forget what it is. It was a piece of crap movie. But they put it as Best Picture. Why? Because they wanted Johnny Depp and Angelina Jolie to show for their award show. So the Golden Globes, I watch them every year because they give all the actors and actresses booze. And it's a fun show to watch. But the awards aren't really worth a thing. The Oscars, though, the way the voting works for the Oscars is you have thousands of members of the Academy. You got actors, producers, writers, directors, Hollywood agents, people that work in the industry, and they all vote. So they start off by voting for their category. If you're a director, you vote in and say who you think the best director is. If you're an actor, you vote and say who the best actor is. If you work in visual effects, you vote for best visual effects. They send it in. The Academy then goes to the votes and then breaks down the list that we usually see, the one that we've got right now. From there, it's sent back out and opens up for all the categories. So not only can an actor vote on Best Actor, they can vote for Best Picture, Best Visual Effects, Best Sound Mixing, all the categories. So the reason is that not only the number of people that vote for the Oscars compared to, say, the Golden Globes, but also the type of people. These are people that work in the industry that know what good visual effects look like, know what sound editing or film editing looks like because they see it every day, they know it. It doesn't always compare to what we do. You know, we who don't work in the industry, we don't see the same thing. We see a movie as entertainment, and that's true. There are movies that are meant to entertain. There are movies that are meant to teach. There are movies that are meant to give a deeper meaning to them. And a lot of times, especially with this year's nominees for Best Picture, a lot of people haven't seen those movies, and that's fine. Some people, especially people who might listen to the show, think that Spider-Man: Homecoming should have been nominated for Best Picture. Logan should have been nominated for Best Picture, which Logan, I think, is an exception to the rule and transcends the comic book genre. But I can get into that discussion in just a minute when I get into adapted screenplay. But in any event, I'm going to go through who I think will win, who I think should win, in my eyes. And then you guys fire back on the social media group or the Gmail account. I'm going to put up polls too. I'm going to start some polls going through categories. And then you guys can vote on the Facebook group. So I'm going to do that all week long. and stay tuned for that. But also this week or tomorrow, I'm going to do kind of a special where I know, like I said, a lot of people haven't seen the Best Picture nominees. I'm going to do a blog on the Dayspring Discussions blog site where I'm going to talk about the Best Picture nominees and give you a brief summary, in my words, about what happened in the movie. So come Sunday night, you know exactly what all the movies are about. So I'm going to go starting at the bottom of the list here. I'm going to work my way up to Best Picture. Starting off, we have Best Visual Effects, Blade Runner 2049, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Kong Skull Island, Star Wars The Last Jedi, and War for Planet of the Apes. Obviously, my personality wants to go right towards Star Wars The Last Jedi because I love Star Wars so much. Blade Runner 2049, very cool visuals. The film itself I thought was okay, ran a little long for my taste, but the world looked really cool. However, I got to give it to War for the Planet of the Apes. The people have been doing these apes films, the last couple of them, absolutely stunning. They make the apes and Caesar look so real, so I can't not give it to them, to be honest. I just got to go that way. Who I think will win? I could see either Blade Runner or Apes getting it. Again, if Star Wars gets it, I'm not going to feel too bad for it. Next up, moving to the category of costume design. You got Beauty and the Beast, Darkest Hour, Phantom Thread, The Shape of Water, Victoria, and Abdul. I haven't seen that movie. Shape of Water, I'm going to get into later on as far as my feelings on that film. But one thing I did notice was the costume design. The set design was cool, but the costume design was really good. Beauty and the Beast, another good, really costume design. Darkest Hour, it's one of those three in my eyes. Who I think will win it? I want to say Shape of Water, but I could also see Beauty and the Beast doing it. Honestly, any one of those three, if they get it, I'll be happy with it. But if I had to pick one that I really want to win, I'm going to give it to Shape of Water, to be honest, because I think, that was really good. All right, moving on. Makeup and hair, Darkest Hour, Victoria and Abdul, and Wonder. I have not seen the film Wonder, mainly because I think it's one of those movies that are just made to make us cry. And as much as I love a good cry during a movie, I love feeling the emotion of it all. Having a child now and seeing a movie about a child who's different and gets picked on, I think I'll cry too much. So I haven't seen that yet. So honestly, I haven't seen Victoria and Abdul. Like I said, I got to give it to Darkest Hour. Who I think will win, I don't know. But the way Gary Oldman was transformed into Winston Churchill, I got to think that he has a good shot of winning it for real. Next up, original song, Mighty River from Mudbound, Mystery of Love from Call Me By Your Name, Remember Me from Coco, Stand Up for Something from Marshall, and This Is Me from The Greatest Showman. Well, anyone who knows me knows I'm voting This Is Me, Greatest Showman. Great song, great lyrics for a meaning. Remember Me by Coco, pretty good song too. I didn't see Marshall, so I can't really say anything about that song. So really, who I think is going to win, it's got to be This Is Me. I mean, this film is so great with the music. It's got to win something. I think it's the only thing it's nominated for, so I'm really rooting for this song. I could also see Remember Me getting it. Mystery of Love I can see just because people are talking about Call Me By Your Name. But I'm voting for This Is Me. I saw Greatest Showman the other day again for a second time in theaters, and I was singing along the whole time. So This Is Me. That's who I want to win. Best Original Score, we got Dunkirk by Hans Zimmer, Phantom Thread by Johnny Greenwood, The Shape of Water by Alexandre Desplat, Star Wars The Last Jedi by John Williams, and Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri by Carter Burwell. Well, of course, all we know, I want to go John Williams, Star Wars The Last Jedi, which I think was a fabulous score because you had the new stuff in there, but the way he blended like Leia's theme in there and, got that old school Star Wars and kind of threw it in there a little bit with this film, I thought was really great. As a Star Wars enthusiast and knowing the music so well, I love how he blended new music and put hints of old music in there. Kind of like how Hans Zimmer did with Justice League, where he kind of put the old Superman and Batman themes kind of mixed in there with it. But Hans Zimmer, he got nominated for Dunkirk. Another good score. Dunkirk, I'll talk about a little bit as far as my feelings about it, but I go with Last Jedi. Shape of Water wasn't too bad. Phantom Thread, I'm not really a fan of that film really at all. Three Billboards, I think it's going to win many things, but this won't be one of them. So I got to give it to John Williams, the greatest composer of all time. I hope he wins. I really do. Okay, next up we got production design. Beauty and the Beast, Blade Runner 2049, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, and The Shape of Water. Honestly, I'm going to go with Beauty and the Beast or Blade Runner 2049 is who I want to win. Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, The Shape of Water, that is recreating things from the past, which is hard. It's totally hard, you know? But Beauty and the Beast and Blade Runner 2049, they had to create another world. So in that respect, creating something that we've never seen before and making it look good, I feel is a lot harder than making something that was just in the past. Now, more than likely, given the fact that Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, and Shape of Water are getting more nominations and more love from the Academy compared to the other two movies, I think they're more than likely to win this. But if I were to put a gun to my head who I want to win, honestly, I'll give it to Blade Runner 2049. I love the way that film looked, the way it all came together. I'll give it to Blade Runner. That's who I want to win. Okay, sound mixing. We got Baby Driver, Blade Runner 2049, Dunkirk, Shape of Water, and Star Wars The Last Jedi. Of course, you know I want to go Star Wars The Last Jedi. All right, next up, we got sound mixing. Baby Driver, Blade Runner 2049, Dunkirk, The Shape of Water, and Star Wars The Last Jedi, which is also part of sound editing. Really, I'm going to treat this just as two. I love that Baby Driver got some love in the Oscars. I think it's a great movie. I think it's worth seeing. I don't think it's going to win it, though. Of course, Star Wars The Last Jedi is the one I want to win. Just alone, the way they mixed the sound with the Lightspeed kamikaze scene, you know what I'm talking about? As I saw the film several times in theaters, I noticed it. Like the BB-8 casino scene with him rolling around with all those coins in him. You could hear the coins. So, yeah, I want Star Wars The Last Jedi to win. And honestly, I think it should win. If I've had to put a second place, I'd probably go Dunkirk, but I think this belongs to Star Wars The Last Jedi as well. And it may seem like I'm a little biased because, you know, I'm a Star Wars fan, but I really think they did the best job. Okay, next category we're going to is film editing. Baby Driver, Dunkirk, I, Tonya, The Shape of Water, and Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Guys, anyone who's made a film before or made any kind of video, you know how critical film editing is. If you put a scene in the wrong spots, or if you cut a scene too short, or if you just leave a scene out, it makes all the difference in the world. So this, I think, is a very important category. I don't know which one I would choose, to be honest. I really don't. It's all about the flow. Editing, again, is about the flow of the film. Dunkirk, I thought, did a decent job. Shape of Water was okay. They all did a pretty good job. Obviously, they did, because they're all nominated out of 5 out of 100 movies. Who I want to win? Wow. I think it's either going to be Dunkirk or Shape of Water. Who I want to win? I'll go Baby Driver just because, again, I want to see that film get some love. I liked it. I like that it's nominated for several things. So who I want to see win, just out of pure fact that my enjoyment of the film, I'll go Baby Driver. All right, the next couple categories, guys, I'm honestly going to skip. Best foreign language film, best live action short film, best documentary short subject, best documentary feature. I've not seen any of those films, which means I doubt you have either. So I'm just going to skip those because I have no commentary about them. So we're going to go straight to cinematography. Blade Runner 2049, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Mudbound, and Shape of Water. I really enjoyed Mudbound. That was a decent film. I like the cinematography in it. Dunkirk, I think, is going to take it. That is what Dunkirk was all about. Dunkirk lacked in story. So for me, the enjoyment of it was a little lacking because I like story. I like characters. Take me on a journey. Take me on the hero's journey. Whatever. So that's what Dunkirk lacked. But cinematography, sound, it was a beautiful film. I watched it on Blu-ray at home, and looking at it, I would have loved to have seen it in an IMAX screen because it looks so beautiful. The pictures, the flying, the way it was shot. I got to give it Dunkirk. Who I think will win, I'll probably go Dunkirk. Again, it was just the way it was shot looks so beautiful. All right, next up we got original screenplay, The Big Sick, Get Out, Lady Bird, Shape of Water, Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. So this is pretty much best story, I guess you could say, guys. These are all great stories. Well, not all of them. I didn't like Lady Bird. I'll get into that in a little while. But Lady Bird, story-wise, not a fan of it. Shape of Water, there's a lot of controversy surrounding Shape of Water, given the fact that someone is suing the film, saying that it was plagiarized. So I'm going to take those two out of it, just out of that. You got Get Out, The Big Sick, Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. All three really good stories. I know Three Billboards is going to win more stuff. So who I want to see win, I'll give it to The Big Sick. I liked it. Really cute film. Get Out would be my number 2 choice. Honestly, if either one of those two wins, I'm fine with it. Who I think is going to win, I think it's going to be Get Out or Three Billboards. That's who I think is going to win. Best Adapted Screenplay. Now, for those of you who don't know, this category basically means it was something that was based off previous material, whether it be a book or a comic book in this case. Call Me By Your Name, The Disaster Artist, Logan, Molly's Game, and Mudbound. Well, obviously, the person I would like to see win would be Logan, giving some love to the comic book genre. Of course, I love the story. I love the movie. I thought it should have been nominated for more stuff, given the fact that how much it transcended the comic book genre as well. And if you had no idea who X-Men were, who Wolverine were, you had no idea that this was a comic book film. Molly's Game, though, Aaron Sorkin. I love me some Sorkin. I love Molly's Game, too. I really liked Molly's Game, mainly because I like Sorkin, I like Jessica Chastain, and I like poker movies. Jessica Chastain got some love in the Golden Globes for Best Actress nomination. She did not get it in this one, which I think is kind of a mistake. But given the competition, I don't know who I would throw out from Best Actresses. Who I want to see win, I'll be happy with Logan or Molly's Game. Who I think will win, probably Call Me By Your Name or maybe Molly's Game. Maybe. Next category will be Animated Short, but I haven't seen any of them, and so I'm going to skip it. Best Animated Feature, Boss Baby, The Breadwinner, Coco, Ferdinand, and Love, Vincent. Well, guys, there's a clear winner in all this, and its name is Coco. I saw the film. I didn't love it compared to a lot of Disney Pixar films. A lot of people did love it. But I did see Boss Baby. That was a piece of crap. Ferdinand, I didn't think looked good enough to even watch. And I'll be honest, I haven't seen The Breadwinner or Love, Vincent. I really have no idea what those films are about. So between all of them, it's going to be Coco. It's Pixar. It's Disney. It's a good film. You got to give it to them. Okay, kids, we're coming down to the big ones here. Best Director. Christopher Nolan for Dunkirk. Jordan Peele for Get Out. Greta Gerwig for Lady Bird. Paul Thomas Anderson for Phantom Thread. And The Shape of Water, Guillermo del Toro. Who I want to see win, Guillermo del Toro. I love me some del Toro. I thought he did a great job with this film, too. I also thought Jordan Peele, for his first directing gig, did a great job with Get Out. And, of course, Christopher Nolan, Dunkirk. Like I said, the film was great to look at. But I think a director's first job is to get the best out of his actors. I think he did that. The problem was that film was not about the actors. It was about the look of it. So in that case, I probably might put Nolan out of it. Lady Bird I thought was boring. Phantom Thread I thought was boring. I'm going to go, I want del Toro to win. I think he is going to win. Otherwise, I'll be happy if Jordan Peele gets it. Best Supporting Actress, Mary J. Blige in Mudbound. Allison Janney in I, Tonya. Leslie Manville in Phantom Thread. Laura Metcalf for Lady Bird. And Octavia Spencer in The Shape of Water. While I like Octavia Spencer, I don't think she was in a good portion of the movie or gave me anything phenomenal to give her this one. It's got to go to Allison Janney in my eyes. I, Tonya. She won the Golden Globe. She did a great job. If I had to put someone second to her, I'd probably put Mary J. Blige from Mudbound. She did a great job as well, too. Leslie Manville for Phantom Thread was pretty decent, too. Who I think should win, I think it'll be Allison Janney. I think it's going to be Allison Janney. I'd be happy, like I said, if it was Mary J. Blige, too, but I think it's Janney's. Best Supporting Actor, William Dafoe, The Florida Project, Woody Harrelson, Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, Richard Jenkins, The Shape of Water, Christopher Plummer, All the Money in the World, Sam Rockwell, Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. I did see The Florida Project. It's one of those films I wanted to see, but I just didn't get around to it. I never also saw All the Money in the World. Christopher Plummer, of course, took Kevin Spacey's place after the whole controversy with Spacey. So really, I'm going to throw those two out right now. Woody Harrelson and Sam Rockwell, both of them did good jobs in Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. And Richard Jenkins did a great job outside Shape of Water. Who I think will win, Sam Rockwell. Who I would be okay winning would be Richard Jenkins. I'm going to give it to one of those two. But if William Dafoe, given what the Florida Project is and what I know about it, I'd be okay if he took it too. So any one of those three, I think you're fine with that. 3 left, guys. These are the big ones. Okay. Lead actress, Sally Hawkins for The Shape of Water. Frances McDormand, Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Margot Robbie for I, Tonya. Saoirse Ronan, Lady Bird. And Meryl Streep, The Post. So this is, of course, Meryl Streep's 21st Oscar nomination. She is a beast. I mean, people were like, oh, it's just Meryl Streep, so you have to nominate her. No. If you see The Post, you know she gives a good performance. Above all else, she always brings it. That first scene with her and Tom Hanks sitting there just eating is mesmerizing. Just two people sitting there eating breakfast. And these two great actors by a great director, Steven Spielberg, who really, I think, got snubbed this year. It's a great scene just watching them go at it. It's kind of like in Molly's Game, just watching Jessica Chastain and Idris Elba chew up that Sorkin dialogue was mesmerizing. Same thing with Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks in The Post. Just the two of them sitting there eating breakfast was mesmerizing watching these two work. Who I think should win? Frances McDormand, Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, or Margot Robbie. I think they both did great jobs. I'll probably give the edge more towards McDormand, seeing how she won the Golden Globe. Robbie, I'd be fine winning too. Sally Hawkins, I think, will probably be number 3 on the list. I think she did a good job with the film, and I'd be fine with any one of those 3 winning it. But like I said, McDormand or Robbie are kind of my front runners on that. But of course, you can't count out Meryl Streep. She did a good job. Compared to the others, though, no. I mean, of course, you know, it's Meryl Streep. She can win anything, and I'd be fine with it. But I'd rather see Robbie or McDormand take it. Lead actor, Timothy Chalamet. I don't think I said that right, but Call Me By Your Name. Daniel Day-Lewis, The Phantom Thread. Daniel Kaluuya, I know I said that wrong, for Get Out. Gary Oldman, Darkest Hour. And Denzel Washington, Roman J. Israel, Esquire. I did not see Denzel film. It looked interesting, but I haven't gotten around to it. It's Gary Oldman's, guys. Come on. Does anyone not think this is Gary Oldman's? I know it's Daniel Day-Lewis, the greatest actor of all time, and it's his last performance, so to speak, he claims. But this is Gary Oldman's. He did such a good job transforming into Winston Churchill. It's got to be his. It's all Oldman in this. Let Commissioner Gordon take this one. Okay, guys, and now we come to the creme de la creme, Best Picture. Let's see what we got here. So, Call Me By Your Name, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Get Out, Lady Bird, Phantom Thread, The Post, The Shape of Water, and Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. This is the golden prize. This is the one everyone wants to get. I'm going to throw out Lady Bird. I thought it was boring. I'm going to throw out Phantom Thread. While I think Daniel Day-Lewis and everyone gives fine performances, fine directed, it's an okay film, again, boring. Call Me By Your Name. I watched that film the other night. Boring. Gotta throw that one out. Dunkirk, while I think was a beautifully shot film, it didn't really tell me too much of a story. I didn't get involved with the characters too much. I gotta throw that one out. Darkest Hour, great human tale. A lot of people might not like it because it's not entertaining. I mean, the most mainstream of these films is probably The Post. And honestly, I think it's the film I love the most. I'm going to go through and give kind of my list, like I said, of how I would rank these films on the blog tomorrow. But it's probably the most mainstream, and it speaks to us most on a social context. You have a corrupt government trying to silence the media, which is something that can be put in a present-day context. Shape of Water, beautifully directed, great sound design, great acting. But she has sex with a fish. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, if I had to give it to someone, I go either 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, or The Post because of the story they told. Get Out, I thought was great. I don't think it has a chance of winning, but I like the fact that it's in there. So I'm going to go The Post and 3 Billboards is kind of who I'm rooting for. Who would get it? I don't know. I mean, 3 Billboards won the Golden Globe, so you got to give them the edge. The Post really isn't getting that much love, so I think you can kind of throw them out there. I just don't want it to be Lady Bird, The Phantom Thread, or Call Me By Your Name. Any other ones I'd be happy with, as long as those 3, because those are the 3 I like the least, I'd be happy with. So there you go, guys. All right, well, that is it. Time to fire back and let me know what you think. Like I said, I think I was going to do it on the Facebook group as far as the nominees. I think I'm actually doing it on my actual Facebook page. So if you follow me on Facebook, you can look at it there. Otherwise, fire back in the social media groups or the Gmail account. Let me know who you think is going to win, who you think should win. Let me know, do you like the Oscars like I do? Do you think they're a joke? I know a lot of these Best Picture films, a lot of people haven't seen because they're not mainstream. These are not the best pictures I thought were last year. These are not the pictures that entertained me the most. But when I saw them, I felt like they are the best as far as cinematography, storytelling, acting. You know, when you get down to the nitty-gritty of it all, the craft of filmmaking, these do deserve to be up there. I would have given Logan some love. I would have given, Wonder Woman some love for maybe costume design or whatever. Yes, the mainstream films, I think, do deserve some love, but there's also a time and place for that. You have, the SAG Awards. You have the Sci-Fi Awards. You have all these other different awards show that everyone gets some love at some point. The MTV Movie Awards, despite what big a joke they may be, much like the Golden Globes, everyone has their award show. This is about people that work in Hollywood celebrating the best in Hollywood. And I can't say I disagree with it. I can't say these are my favorite films, but I respect them. I respect them out of almost anything else. And you do have those, stories that come up every once in a while. Be like, oh, these guys voted, but they didn't even see the movies. That's like 1 out of 1,000 incidences where that happened. Okay, 1 out of 1,000,000 even. Okay, the Oscars, I think, means something in Hollywood. You had the whole snafu last year, and just to be honest too, Moonlight won Best Picture last year. That was a film I walked out on the last half hour because I was bored. So let you know how I think about some of these films too. I still see them though, because when I do, I see the craft of them. I see the beauty of them. I see the care and why Hollywood and actors and producers and directors think of them as the best films made that year. I can see it. Maybe not always, because sometimes Lady Bird gets up there and that happens. But in any event, guys, let me know what you think, okay? Do you think the Oscars are bogus? Who would you nominate for Best Picture, Best Actress? All that stuff. Fire back. I want to know your thoughts on the Oscars. Gmail account, social media group. Let me know, guys. That's it for today. I'll be back next week with a regular show. And, of course, I have topics to talk about already. I'll get to that. Look out tomorrow. Like I said, I'm going to go through Best Picture nominees, rank them, and give you my brief summary of them on the Dayspring Discussions blog site. And that's it for me today, guys. Hope you enjoy the Oscars on Sunday if you're going to watch them. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next week. Until then, may the force be with us all.